Have you ever wondered how products travel across the world in massive quantities at relatively low cost? From electronics to clothing to raw materials. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about sea freight in a logistics company in a simple and practical way, so you can understand how global trade really works behind the scenes. Sea freight, also known as ocean freight, is the transportation of goods by cargo ships across international waters, and it is the backbone of global trade, handling around 90% of the world's goods, mainly because it is far more cost-effective than air freight for large and heavy shipments, even though it takes longer. Let's start with the key players involved. First, you have the shipper, usually the exporter or seller sending the goods. Then the consignee, the person or company receiving the goods. Next is the freight forwarder, a logistics company that arranges the shipment and handles documentation and coordination. And finally, the shipping line, the company that owns and operates the vessels transporting the cargo. Now let's walk through the full sea freight process step by step. It usually begins with booking, where the shipper or freight forwarder books space with a shipping line specifying details like container type, cargo volume, and destination. Once confirmed, the cargo is prepared and packed, often into standardized containers, such as 20-foot or 40-foot containers, which makes handling and transportation much more efficient. Next comes inland transportation, where the goods are moved from the supplier's warehouse to the port of origin, usually by truck or rail. Once at the port, the cargo goes through export customs clearance, where authorities check documentation and approve the shipment for export. After clearance, the containers are loaded onto the vessel, and the ocean journey begins. This is called the main carriage and can take anywhere from a few days to several weeks depending on the route. When the vessel arrives at the destination port, the process continues with import customs clearance, where the consignee or their agent submits documents and pays any required duties or taxes. Once cleared, the cargo is unloaded and transported inland to the final destination, completing the journey. Now let's talk about the types of sea freight services. The most common is FCL, or full container load, where one shipper uses an entire container, which is faster and more secure for large shipments. Another is LCL, or less than container load, where multiple shippers share a container, which is more cost-effective for smaller shipments but may take longer due to consolidation and deconsolidation. There are also different types of containers depending on the cargo, including standard dry containers for general goods, refrigerated containers known as reefers for perishable items like food or pharmaceuticals, and specialized containers such as open-top or flat-track for oversized or heavy cargo. Documentation is a critical part of sea freight, and one of the most important documents is the bill of lading, which acts as a receipt, a contract of carriage, and a document of title. Other documents may include commercial invoices, packing lists, and certificates of origin depending on the shipment. Sea freight costs typically include ocean freight charges, port handling fees, customs duties, documentation fees, and inland transportation, and these costs are influenced by factors such as container size, shipping route, fuel prices, and market demand. While sea freight is highly cost-efficient for large volumes and more environmentally friendly per unit compared to air freight, it is slower and can be affected by delays such as port congestion, weather conditions, or customs issues. So, in summary, sea freight is the most widely used method of transporting goods globally, involving multiple parties, a structured process, various service types, like FCL and LCL, and important documentation, like the bill of lading, and understanding how it works is essential for anyone involved in logistics, international trade, or supply chain management. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more simple explanations of logistics and business concepts. See you in the next video.